Okay. Welcome everybody. Once again, thank you for joining me as we once again uh, share in the joy of PDH together. Today is Wednesday, July 30th. Almost out of July. And tonight, Edge of Eternities is released. No, it releases this Friday. Pre-release was this past weekend. The cards are out there. Lots of cool ones. We did one the other week. And I would have done another one tonight, but after this past weekend, I played a lot of my Monk of the Open Hand deck, and it got me thinking that what I would prefer to do, I think, is cook up a Derek special. Uh, Monk of the Open Hand is one. Tonight we have Commander Triton Wavebreaker, who will be one as well. This is a 1 mana 1/1 bestow, so bestows for 2 mana. As long as it's a creature, it has prowess, so 1/1. The floor on this card is 1 mana 1/1 prowess, mono blue. And then the creature that it is bestowed upon or enchants gets +1/+1 and has prowess as well. So before we kind of get into this, we're going to be building a very specific kind of deck. When you think about what makes a Derek special, it's not something that has a clear definition. It's a lot, I would describe it kind of akin to fascism, in the sense that it's more of an amalgamation of qualities that comprise the whole of what it is. There's no strict definition, and it kind of means different things to different people at the end of the day. So, to me, some of the big qualities in a Derek special are heavy redundancy, consistency of game plan, as few lands as we can possibly run. Most Derek specials have between 20 and 24 lands. Monk of the Open Hand has 20. Titania's Chosen was another one that I've built that has 24. And they just cast lots of spells. There's some features that you'll see amongst several of them. Ones that care about casting spells, for example, much like this one, will include a lot of cards that find lands. Things that will trigger prowess while also finding the few lands that we have, so we are able to do that. In mono blue, we have access to a lot of cantrips. So a lot of the stuff, a lot of the artifacts that I've played in other decks that cantrip, that do other things, we can replace with actual cantrips in this deck, like instants and sorceries. You'll kind of see what I mean as it starts to take shape. But I just kind of wanted to showcase how I build decks like this. It's something that is kind of emerged as a signature style, I think. So, Heritage Druid being like the penultimate, or rather ultimate. Penultimate is not the word. That's a stupid word. The ultimate example that all other Derek specials are crafted in the shadow of. So, Triton Wavebreaker we're going to do tonight, and let's kick it off. So, got a 1 mana commander, 2 mana if we want, and it is going to ask us to play a ton of 1 mana spells because we're going to want to do some prowess stuff. We've got a fair amount of ways to find lands out of our deck, so I don't think I want to go 21 lands. Let's start out with 23. Oh, we'll just do islands. I don't think we need snow-covered islands. I'm not as desperate for like cantrips that I need to play like Arkham's Astrolabe in a monocolor deck, which I have done. Instead, we're just going to do regular islands. This way we can play the art that we want. Our deck can have the aesthetics that we so choose, rather than snow-covered basics, which are always the best thing to do in a vacuum for no good reason. Okay, so the first things that we're going to do here is add in a suite of cards. The PDH pals have their holy trinity of Marching Duo, Drone, Scare Tiller, and Howling Golem. Well, I have my own holy trinity, and it's Wander's Twig, Traveler's Amulet, and Renegade Bat. There are other cards that do these sorts of things, but these are just 1 mana artifacts that come down, and they will find us a land. These are cards that cost 1 mana to trigger prowess. They will find lands out of our decks so we can hit our land drops. There was a new one printed recently in Bloomburrow called Fountain Port Bell that I like quite a bit. This one puts it on top of your library. You can pay an extra mana to draw it. This deck has so many cantrips that we're just going to very naturally draw into them anyway, so that little, drawback is not really a big deal. We're going to play Wayfarer's Bauble. We're gonna play. This isn't an artifact, but what's the name of the card? Environmental something. It's a 2-mana colorless spell, Environmental Sciences. This one right here. 2-mana spell, searches for basic land, puts it in our hand, and then we get to gain 2 life, so cheap. Some other things that I've included in decks like this are like Chromatic Sphere, Chromatic Star. I want to see where our blue cantrips end up, because I don't think we'll need those. I have gone pretty deep on those things in the past, but I don't know if we need to do that stuff here. So we'll start with these. Stuff that finds our lands. There's 6 of them, so the odds are not bad of getting at least 1 in a game. And with 23 lands, we're going to have like a basic land every 4 or 5 cards. Terrarium, possibly. I do like this one a little bit better in a vacuum. I do like you put the counter on it, whatever. But as far as like the land portion of it, I like this one better because what I found is that gaining life, like even incremental life, is really, really valuable, because a lot of times you just go shields down attacking. So just getting life here there is pretty valuable. Let's put the Terrarium in here anyway. Why not? I think that's a good card that I put. All right, blue cards. We're just gonna look for draw a card. They just have to replace themselves. I'm not looking for anything fancy. There's some that we all know and love, and there's others that probably you won't think of because they don't seem that impressive. But the point is that we're putting in a density of these effects, right? Wavebreaker, Triton Wavebreaker, and a lot of other decks that I built in this space, they just want you to be casting a large amount of spells. Doesn't matter what those spells are. You just want to cast a lot of them. You want them to be cheap so you can cast a lot of them. And you want them to replace themselves so you can continue to play a lot of them as much as you want. Barb Sextant is does a really good Chromatic Sphere impression. Okay, so Aura Finesse is an interesting one because if we bestow our commander, we can move it around. That's a little niche. That's a little techie, and I don't think I want to go into that sort of thing just yet. The artifact stuff, we don't necessarily need as much in blue, which I like a lot. Like in black and the white, in Monk of the Open Hand, like these effects like Candy Trail, Chromatic Sphere, Barb Sextant are really, really valuable because white does not have a lot of ways to do that. Blue, you kind of have embarrassment of riches. Cerulean Wisps, I think, is really good, actually. Baseline that we want is, 1 mana blue spell, draw a card. This one lets you untap your creature. Like I said, one of the big things about these strategies is that you just get a threat out early, and then you just, like, churn through your library and attack. You go shields down a lot, and being able to untap your thing and block is a fun little thing that you can do. Cards like this are how you build a lot of variance into your, like, insanely consistent deck. I'm thinking about this a lot lately. Like, Pauper Commander has an issue where it's a format that's built around redundancy because the card pool is all cards that are designed for limited formats, and they all tend to have certain similarities, or you see a lot of the same effects keep popping up. Because regardless of like the different limited environments, the bones of those environments require similar things for the format to function. So what you end up with is a lot of Pauper Commander decks have the ability to be very consistent. For example, by having bite spells, fight spells, tons of those, draw spells, divinations, creature removal, like creature burn, like black removal. These sorts of things are just like everywhere. But just finding ways that they can just do little other things keeps the game fresh, and especially because we're playing to the battlefield and attacking. The battlefield's going to look different every game we play, so our decisions are going to be different every game we play. Our cards are going to do different things based on which ones we draw every single game. They're all going to have slightly different applications, even though the core functionality is the same. These sorts of things are important to keep in mind when you're building decks, I think. Careful Study is a little negative, not into that one. Delayed Draw is not what we're looking for. The delayed cantrip triggers are better in decks that just care about casting like a fixed amount of spells. Like, for example, Monk of the Open Hand wants you to cast 2 spells a turn. So therefore, like, delayed draw triggers are fine because once you hit that 2 spell threshold, you're not really priced in to keep going. So you don't need to constantly refuel. You can take a turn off to like have that delay draw. When it gets back to your turn, you have that extra card. With a deck like this is a little bit worse. So we're probably going to overlook this one. We'll probably Cloak of Feathers. Cloak of Feathers and Leap are great because they provide flying. A lot of these cards will just give evasion, which is awesome. A Cloak of Feathers gives a creature flying. This creature does not have flying. So if we want to play it as a 1/1 for 1, we can give it flying and give it +1/+1, which is sweet. Consider is awesome, and Conjurer's Bauble is good too. Conjurer's Bauble. I like Conjurer's Bauble. And Consider. Conjurer's Bauble is good. Like artifacts that just like kind of do this. This is why like Star and Chromatic Star and Chromatic Sphere are pretty good, because if you don't need to cash them in for an extra card, you can kind of save it. I mean, it's 1 mana to cast, 1 mana to activate, so you pay 2 mana and you rebate 1 because it adds a mana. So functionally costs you 1 mana and you get to draw a card, but they can kind of sit on the battlefield till you need to cash them in if you want to go about it that way, which kind of lets you set up bigger turns every once in a while. So we might go back to Star and Sphere. I do like those cards a lot. So we got Consider. Enter the Enigma is a perfect one, can't be blocked. There's a handful of these cards. Enter the Enigma, Distortion Strike, Slip Through Space, that kind of thing. Fleeting Distraction, I like too. Messing with Combat is awesome. Granted, like, there's going to be a ton of these cards, and we're going to find room to cut a lot of them, I'm sure. But I just want to kind of get them all in here initially. Flight Spell Bomb is kind of another good one, because even if we're not using... We can cash it to draw a card, or we can just give a thing flying. So it's kind of like Cloak of Feathers, it's a little bit more expensive. But these effects are really powerful, so I think that's okay. Probably the Aether Spell Bomb too, actually. A big thing is being able to use all of these spells proactively so that we can just like chain a bunch of stuff into making our thing into a big attacker for a turn. You know, it's prowess, so it's only on a turn, but that's the thing is like, you know, we can play out a bunch of these things, make this thing big, and then, you know, cash in our artifacts later to refuel. Yeah, Fleeting Distraction, just like messing with combat's awesome. Giving a creature -1 power will actually have ramifications, I guarantee you. Gitaxian Probe is awesome because it costs 0 mana. Gitaxian Probe. Leap. Leap is an instant that gives flying, lets you draw a card. It's kind of like the regular Magic card version of Cloak of Feathers because this is from Portal. So everything in Portal is a creature or a sorcery. 0 instants, 0 anything else. We'll play Mental Note. Mental Note and Thought Scour, maybe. Like, the milling doesn't really do a whole lot for us. It's just kind of like, it might... We're not going to have a ton of synergies there, I don't think. Maybe, like, if we're playing Treasure... We'll probably play Treasure Cruise, so possibly. We're not going to go up to, like, Archaeomancers and stuff like that, so... our curve's not going to be nearly that high. I'm going to play Mantle of Tides, though. Mantle of Tides, if you've never played with this card, it plays a lot better than it reads. So it's a 1-mana equipment. Where are my artifacts? Mantle of Tides. 1-mana equipment gives a creature +1/+2, which is, like, pretty significant, and... It equips for 3, but if when you draw your second card each turn, you can attach it to something for free. This is just like a really efficient card that I like quite a bit. I've played in a lot of decks. It plays, like I said, a lot better than it reads. Nutrient Block, pay 2 mana. No. You see, we're playing 3 mana here to draw a card. I don't like that as much. We'll play Obsessive Search, though. I mean, I don't care. And we'll play Opt. Actually, you know, Obsessive Search might not make the cut. I do like the idea of playing Obsessive Search, though. I don't think we're going to play a ton of, like, discard stuff, so maybe that's less good. But we're going to play Peek and Ponder for sure. Peek is awesome. It's like the good version of Clairvoyance, because you get to draw the card immediately, but looking at players' hands is really valuable. The information is great. What we'll probably do, because this can bestow, is we'll play a fair amount of creatures. There's a couple that will enter and then reveal our opponent's hands, like Talus Scout and Woo Scout and Ingenious Thief, just 1/1 flyers for 2. They're good targets for bestow. I'm not going to go up to like the 3 mana prowess creatures, even though double prowess is cool. 3 mana is a lot to pay for a creature, and I don't really want to do that. All right, so we got Peek, we need Ponder, we need Portent. Well, maybe we don't need Portent because that has a delayed trigger, and that's not as good. We're going to do Preordain though. Like I said, you know, if this card's It's just like Ponder with a delayed trigger. Maybe it's good enough. It probably will be because we get to set up the top 3 cards of our library, and that's pretty good when we're just like chaining spells, if we know what spells we're chaining into, or just shuffling our library. Like Reach the Mist, draw a card. I like these cards on their simplicity, but I don't think it'll be good enough. Scroll of Avacyn, we definitely are not going to do. Serum Visions and Shadow Rift are great. These cards are classics. Serum Visions less so, but Shadow Rift, for all you all blue Voltron players out there, gives a creature shadow, draw a card. Perfect. Exactly what we're looking for. Slip through space. Can't be blocked, draw a card. And then Sorcerer's Sight is the name of the portal. Yeah, Sorcerer's Sight. Look at opponent's hand, draw a card. I'll play that one. When you're playing decks like this, the information from these cards is like, I said it, you know how I said it's good. It's actually better than good because we're really going like very heavily on this as a threat. And like knowing what people have to either combat what you're doing or, not combat what you're doing can really help you make informed decisions about how you want to attack. Importantly, like when I'm building decks like this, a big feature of them is not going too heavy into protection and removal or other interaction. I think it's like a lot of fun to have vulnerabilities in your deck. Like for example, like not packing our deck full of counter spells to protect this. I really don't like games where somebody just plays something and then just counters everything that targets it for the rest of the game. That really sucks. It's not fun. Even though I will be on the receiving end of some bad beats when people just remove my commander, I think it makes for better games, honestly. It's about a lot more than me just, winning every time. I'm going to play Surgical Spellbomb for sure. It's just like a spell bomb. We can pay 3 and repulse something, return a creature, but just cash it and draw a card. I like Surgical Spellbomb. I like Skull Bombs and Spell Bombs in general. I wish that the red Skull Bomb was not so disappointing. Dark Creature gets -1. I'll probably take the fall. We have the other one, Fleeting Distraction and Take the Fall, same thing, except it has like an outlaw clause, but who cares? We may play Relic. I don't know. I don't know, Bill. Cryogen Relic is really cool, but I don't know. Thought Scour. We'll play Mental Note and Thought Scour. I'm gonna play Treasure Cruise, so. Thought Scour. And you will also play this Unending Whisper. I kind of like the idea of using our big prowess creature to harmonize this card. That's pretty cool. We'll have a couple other prowess creatures in the deck too, so that card seems pretty interesting. Witching Well is cute. A little too cute with the Witching Well. Okay, so now we get into 2 mana value spells. There's some artifacts here that are definitely going to be really good because we're a combat-focused deck. Alchemist Vial is one of them. Back to my common refrain of messing with combat will screw people up all the time and blow people out. Alchemist Vial is one of those cards. 8 cantrip, so 2 mana, ETB, draw a card, pay 1, sacrifice it. Target creature cannot attack or block. So you take out a blocker, you can prevent something from attacking, save yourself a combat. This card is just like really versatile. I like it a lot. I play it in a lot of decks. Most decks that care about attacking, I'll play this card. Yeah, Cryogen Relic is pretty good, but I don't know if I want it, if I'm being honest. A lot of these 2 mana, like Surveil 1 draw cards or Scry 2 draw card, I'm less high on those, but there are some 2 mana spells that I do want. I just want to kind of see what else is here before I go into those. How many do I have so far? Got 10 instants and 10 sorceries, so I've got like 20 cards that just cantrip. It's pretty sick. I'm not going to play all of these equipment. I like Mantle Ties because it attaches for free. I really want to keep my mana freed up to do other things, and the more equipment you attach to something, the more attractive a removal target is. So, we're doing enough, I think, to make our commander a threat by prowessing every turn. Golden Egg, ETB, draw a card, sacrifice. Yeah, I like the ones that are front-loaded to draw you cards like this. Not like the food block or whatever from Edge of Eternities where you sacrifice it and then draw the card when it dies. This one's way better. And like I said, gaining life is really good. These food cards are good. Golden Egg is one of them. There's a few others. Let's see. Hacker Wellspring, we're not doing that stuff. Instant Ramen's another one. Notably, all of these cards trigger prowess. Importantly, Jeskai Elder, Jeskai Sage are two of like my favorite prowess creatures because they cost 2 mana. The 3 mana prowess creatures is kind of par for the course. There's several of them. I really like the ones that come down at 2 though. Jeskai Sage and Jeskai Elder. Jeskai Elder kind of it just loots when it deals damage, and Jeskai Sage when it dies you draw a card. But they're both like just like pretty cheap prowess creatures. We'll play both of these. I've had good experiences with these cards. I want to keep the mana values as low as possible. Skipping Keep Safe. It's cool, but I don't want to play counter spells. We'll play like Shore Up, and we'll play Magic Dampening, which are like good protection spells. They double as protection spells while also like being offensive in that they trigger prowess and give our creature +1/+1. Lembas is another great one. I can't tell you like how many games where I've just like hung on just by sacrificing food artifacts like this that cantrip. You play it, you draw your card, you sit there, and then you just cash in the food when you need to. Really, really good. Literal Core. Literal Core's pretty good. There's another really good bestow target, and it just does work on its own. Mental Modulation. Hell yeah, let's play that. Costs one mana on our turn. Gets rid of a blocker. I'm in for that. Not playing Mnemonic Sphere. Not playing Mind Stone. Don't need no mana rocks. Omen. It's like a 2 mana Ponder. Don't think I really want that though. Not gonna play Moonsacred Hacker. These cards are less impressive. Not playing Prophetic Prism, that's for sure. There are decks where I would, but this is not one of them. Refocus. I like a lot of these cards though. Radical Idea has Jumpstart, which I like. See Beyond. Once I get like past the 2 mana cards, it has to be like really, really impressive to make me want it. Sleeper Dart's another good one. Let's put a Sleeper Dart here. Sleeper Dart is a card that taps down, or it like stuns a creature that's already tapped. So an ETB draw card. That's what we want. And then the utility on it is sacrifice it. Target creature does not untap. So if you get attacked by a thing, you can keep it tapped for an extra turn cycle. Just like yet another like solid tempo artifact amongst our sea of them. Let's see. Spare Supplies. I don't know. This is kind of on the bubble. It doesn't really add much in the way of utility. It just gives you an extra card, which, we're already cantripping enough. I don't think that's like super critical. Train of Thought is sick. What's this card? Oh, this is a Spider-Man. Target player draws a card, then up to 1 target creature connives. I would play this card if it was legal. If it was released, I would play this card. When this set comes out, I probably will play this card. This card's sick. Wedding Invitation. There's another one. Wedding Invitation is probably like the best artifact that nobody ever talks about. Much for the same reason I like Alchemist Vial, Wedding Invitation is just that, but way better. It just makes your thing unblockable. If you have a vampire, it gives it lifelink. Like, for example, there's a black card, Lightless Evangel, and I built a deck around, it's on my Mox Field, Lightless Evangel, and it's a 2-mana, 2/2 black vampire creature from Edge of Eternities, and whenever you sacrifice a creature artifact, it gets a counter. Kind of like similar build incentives as like this, right? You just want to play a bunch of things that sacrifice themselves, like see all of these cards. But it's a vampire, so this thing just like makes it unblockable and gives it lifelink, which is great. But the core functionality of this card, sacrificing make a thing unblockable, is really, really, really good. It just lets you punch through whenever you want, which makes you a huge threat. Okay, gang. How do we feel about Vision Schemes? I feel great about it. People are always so scared about giving their opponents cards, but you know what? Who cares? Who cares? I get 2 cards. Who cares if they get 2 cards? Whatever. My deck has 23 lands. Their deck has, 66% more or whatever, 50% more lands than I do. So my odds are better at drawing something good. I like that. Words of Wisdom, another one. 2 mana, draw 2. I really like these cards. Plus they're instants. So like, I don't care about giving anyone else a card. You can take it. It's fun. You love having cards. I love having cards. You can love having cards too. Zalfarian Shapecraft kind of dovetails into our next thing here. Zalfarian Shapecraft is a 2 mana instant. So it gives a creature base power and toughness 4/3 until end of turn. Importantly, this creature and whatever creature is bestowed on it, probably like a 1 power creature, will have base power 1/1 or base power of 1. So any spell like this is basically like +3/+0. And so like if we just attack with Triton Wavebreaker, right? Just attack. It's a 1/1 prowess we're attacking, and we cast Zalfarian Shapecraft. Now it's a 5 power creature because it has a prowess trigger to get +1/+1, and then its base power and toughness becomes 4/3. So now we have a 5/4, and we draw a card. There's a handful of these effects, and we're gonna play just about all of them. I'm gonna cut this off. I'm not gonna bother looking at the 3s for now. I'm not that desperate. We have so many good cards that I don't need them. Base power and where's some base power toughness? Behind the Mask, 1 mana. Collect Evidence, so another synergy for our self-mill stuff. Until end of turn, artifact creature becomes artifact creature with base power toughness 4/3. Or we can make something a 1/1 if we collect evidence. So this card is really good. Speaking of discarding, we'll probably... No, not ready for that. I was thinking about Frantic Search. I might go back to that, actually. Frantic Search is really good. We are not playing Doc Ock Sinister Scientist. What does this card even do? If 8 or more cards in your graveyard, it's an 8/8. That's pretty cool. As long as you control their villain, it's hexproof. So it's good with Changelings. This card's pretty sick. I'd probably play this in my Turtle Shell Changeling deck. Because Turtle Shell Changeling gives them hexproof. Anyway, we're not going to play Dreadful as a Storm. I don't want to pay 3 mana for this. I want to pay 2 mana, and there are plenty of them. So I don't need to be that desperate. Mordekai's Polymorph, get 4/4 and flying. There's like 4 or 5 of these that I like, that are good. Relic Soar is another one. Artifact or creature becomes a dinosaur. This one makes you think a dinosaur, but a 4/3. The 1 mana ones are great. They don't cantrip, but they're super cheap, and they give you a lot of power for very little mana. It's kind of like a blue giant growth in a deck like this. Serpentine Ambush is the highest rate one. It's a 2 mana, makes you think a 5/5 rather than like a 4/4 or whatever. The ones that make you think of 4/4 also have other like effects, like one, Polymorph gives flying, Water Wings gives flying and hexproof, I think. There's no cycles for 1 mana, which is good. So we're gonna play Serpentine Ambush. The dog is losing their mind. Losing her mind. Okay, starting development, that's the one. Base power dump is 4/4, cycling 1. This is how we're just gonna push like a ton of damage with these cards. Oh, let's put Shore Up and Magic Damping in here real quick. Shore Up, Magic, Damp, Magic Damper. That's the one. Yeah, this one +1 gains hexproof. Untap it. That's pretty good. Junie is losing her mind. Unable to scream. Yeah, I don't care about those. I don't care about that. Water Wings. 4/4 gains flying and hexproof, so that's kind of like a protection spell too. See, like we can get like protection spells in the form of things that actually we can cast proactively. That's really what I want. I don't want to be like holding stuff in my hand, like holding my counter spell. That's one more card that I just can't turn into a prowess trigger when I want to, So like if we just don't care, if we just don't give a shit, and we want to attack and push damage, we can just use this as an offensive spell, which I love. And then Wings of Velospell is the last one. Gives all creature types flying and makes it a 4/4. I like that one. Wings Faux Velospell. Wings of Velospell. That's what I mean. Okay, so we're at 76 cards. See, isn't it beautiful when you can just play 23 lands? And look at all these cards we can play. We can play so many cards. Let's look at creatures next. We're going to prioritize low mana value creatures, obviously. Whoop, hello. Creatures with flying, like 1 mana 1/1s with flying that have some kind of other utility, I think, are going to be pretty good. Things that carry the bestow, I think, are pretty good. Oh, you know what we'll also play? There's an equipment in Edge of Eternities. I don't remember what it's called, but it enters, attaches for free, and gives hexproof. I like that one too. Kind of the same vein as Mantle of Tides, but you know, it's a protection spell we can again cast proactively. Okay, so let's see here. What are some good targets? Cloudfin Raptor's a pretty good target, except we probably won't be evolving it very much, so maybe we skip that. Maybe we skip it. Fairy Seer I like quite a bit. Fairy Seer just lets us scry too, which is really good. Scrying is great. Probably not going to play like a ton of creatures. You know, some, but not too many. Oh, I like Gingerbrute. Something that's tough to block. You could sacrifice as a food. It's a good one. That's a good one. Like, Flying Men is a really good template, I think, for this, just because it synergizes really well with kind of the power buffs. Wavebreaker. This is, you're right, Sniffhout. Triton Wavebreaker is a Pauper Commander game changer. It makes this deck a bracket 4. I like, you know what, Ilfway Guildblade sounds pretty cool. I'll tell you why, because this is a really interesting card. It's kind of like Combat Courier, except way better. Way better. The reason being is this one flies and has flash. It's a 1/1 flyer for 1. But we can sacrifice to draw a card. So interestingly enough, what we can do is if we want to, for whatever reason, drop our Wavebreaker Triton off of our Galeblade, like if we have a bestowed, we just sacrifice this. Triton becomes a creature. Its own creature falls off. That's the great thing about bestow. So we can just like do cool stuff like that. Let's play Galeblade. I like this card. Maybe we'll cut it. Who knows? But it's cool. I want to play it. Lantern Bearer. This is another good one because so we can turn it into Nora. Lantern Bearer is another card that is very high on my list of blue creatures. For those of you who don't know, the only thing I play as much as mono blue decks is mono blue creature decks, and Lantern Bearer is one that I love to death. So it's just a 1/1 flyer, but once it dies or is put into the graveyard, we can play it for 3 as a, or it gives 1/1 and flying. That card's pretty great. Let's put Treasure Cruise in here while I'm thinking about it. Wavebreakers are more folk. If I had a lot of humans, then I might play like Of One Mind. No, okay. Miscloaked Herald. Oh yeah, we could play just like straight up unblockable stuff. These things are also really good with like Serpentine Ambush for obvious reasons. Why not? Let's play Miscloaked Herald. Like putting our Triton on a Miscloaked Herald or a what's the other one? Naga something? No, Triton Shore Stalker. That's the one. Triton Shore Stalker. Yeah, 1/1 can't be blocked. 1/1 can't be blocked. Isn't there like a 1/2 that can't be blocked? Oh, yeah, it is a Naga. It's I forget it. We'll find it. It'll come up sooner or later. This one I'd care more about, except it'll have some niceness the turn it enters and taps something. So it's not a great bestow target. I do like that it taps something though, so it has like good utility later if we just happen to draw it cold, versus like if we draw it turn 1 and to bestow on 2. That might be good enough. Come back to that. Silver Raven is a scry. Slitherblade's the one I was thinking of. Silver Raven need to be scry 1, so it's like a Fairy Seer but worse. No, we'll play Slitherbblade. The unblockable stuff is quite good. Yeah, there's Shore Stalker, Wandering Ones. Windcrafter is curious. I do like Windcrafter. I've had a lot of good experiences with this card. It just gives something flying. It soul bonds. You know, maybe I don't want here. Although we can just soul bond with our we could just play our 1/1, soul bond it on turn 2, cast a cantrip, and attack with a flyer. That might be good. We'll have to do a little trial and error here. Okay, how many cards are there? 86. Okay, and it's at 735. Okay, I've been doing a lot of talking, so we've got to finish this up. There's only a couple other cards that I know I want to play here. And they are aggressive creatures. Cloud of Fairies, actually, I like. No, not Cloud of Fairies. We're going to play Snap. We're going to play Frantic Search, because they are free spells. So we can kind of go crazy with our triggers, such as some free spells. I'm looking for very specific cards. Don't remember the name of it. Return enchantment. It's interesting, but I don't think I know what I want to do with it. Oh, Elemental Static. That's, there you go. Another 2 mana prowess creature. Forgot about him. I'll probably go back and just do a prowess search. Usa Spellfist. There we go. This one, you cast a non-creature spell, gets +1/+0, and becomes unblockable. That card's pretty sick. Not gonna play Escape Artist. Kite's pretty okay. Yeah. So Grey Harbor Merfolk is good sometimes. It's not good half the time with our commander because it only cares if it's a creature, and if it's bestowed, it is not a creature. So that's only good 50% of the time, and I don't like that one bit. Can't be blocked along instant sorcery. That's pretty good. We'll play that one. How many instant sorcery we got? 36. Seems okay to me. Icar Synthesizer is another one. This one, it's a 1/3, I believe, or a 0/3. A 1/3 for 2. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets an oil counter. As long as there's 4 oil counters, it gets +2/+0, and it's unblockable. So it becomes a 3/3 unblockable once you cast 4 non-creature spells, which is something we're going to be doing very easily. Illinois Operative, another card that I love from Edge of Eternity. Whenever you cast your second spell, put a 1/1 counter on it, so it grows permanently. Definitely gonna play that one. I think I might go up to 3 for Erudite Wizard, but if I go up to 3 for Erudite Wizard, then I really just have no excuse not to go up to 3 for a lot of the prowess creatures that I kind of don't want to play. Here's Ingenious Thief. Maybe we don't want to play these cards since we have 2 spells that do this already. I am kind of running low on space, so I kind of want to be a little more careful. I think we've got like a good selection of stuff here. It's just kind of filling in the gaps right now. Duo Drone is interesting, and I'll tell you why. Because we want to be casting a lot of spells, this will give us mana every turn. It gives our opponents mana, but it gives a shit, right? I've already made the case that nobody should give a shit off of Words of Wisdom and Vision Skeins. So Duo Drone might just have a home here. Okay. Not playing Mirror Retriever. Not doing a lot of sacrifice stuff, that's for sure. A lot of stuff with death triggers. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Razzle Dazzler. Yeah, we want that one. Another card that cares about casting your second spell. I don't care about board wipe spell. I'm not playing a counter spell. Never playing a counter spell in this deck. Never. Relic Runner, casting a historic spell. So capable to cast an artifact. I've got 17. No, not doing that. Okay. I don't care about board wipes. Who cares? What's the worst that can happen? What's the worst? I just pay 3 mana and recast my commander? Come on now. Come on now. 4 mana. Not playing Sahagin. I will play Cyber Cryptomancer, though. This puts a 1/1 counter on stuff, and it gives you hexproof. It's interaction, and it's proactive. Again, this is what we want. Cryptomancer is one of my favorite blue protection spells. There's also auras as well. I'm not going to get those. Like, well, you know what? Maybe we'll play Elumbra, because it is flash. I guess they all have flash, but Elumbra gives totem armor, which is pretty sick. There's a couple of Cradle of Safety and Starlit Mantle. 2 mana auras that enter, give a thing hexproof, and give a creature +1/+1 on the back end. Good protection spell. Also makes our thing more powerful. Gives us a prowess trigger. Gives a point of additional power. Again, like proactive spells. I don't think I want to go like all in Cradle of Safety and Starlit Mantle. Oh, I do need to make sure I get that equipment though. So we'll finish up here because I'm getting to the end of the 2 mana value spells. I'm not going to go into the 3s. 3's way too many. We're not playing a mana dork. Non-creature spell gets +1/+0 and flies. Sky Theater Strix. Yeah, I'll play that one. Sky Theater Strix. Oh, so we were trying to do that one too. Okay, so let's start cutting some stuff. Now that I found all these great cards that I forgot about, we can cut some of the bad ones. Actually, I don't have any bad ones. False alarm. Maybe we cut Wingcrafter. Let's cut the Ember. I don't care. I don't care that much about that. I need to fit in cool things, and I don't want stuff I'm just gonna... I don't want to be tempted, you know. Oh, I'm gonna be precious about my Elumbra. Fuck that. That's right. I said the F word. That's how much I care about that. Okay, pretty much done here. Okay, a couple things to wrap up before we start testing. Okay, we'll search for creatures, prowess. The ones that I don't have already, I think are going to be 3 mana and up, and there's maybe like 1 or 2 that I want. Oh, we need a Mara Entangler too. All the 2 mana prowess creatures I want. 3 is a harder sell. Dreschen Thief might be the one that I want the most because when it deals damage, we draw cards, and that's a nice little kicker. Even though there's a lot of flyers that do the same thing, and not the same thing, but you know, 3 mana 2/2 flyers or 2 power flyers with prowess. Like Wing Commando is great, Mistral Singer. If I was playing a deck that had a higher land count, I'd probably be more interested in these, but I think Dreschen Thief is a good way to top the curve. And then let's get that equipment. Actually, what we'll do is we'll just search for the Edge of Eternities cards, because Edge of Eternities has a lot of really awesome blue cards, and I can't remember all of them. So we're just going to go in here and Google them. We're going to Google them with our Scryfall. We're not playing Relic. Here we go. Ovoid Lightjammer. Look at this thing. 2 mana, flash, equipment, enters, attach it to a creature, give it hexproof. That's pretty sick. Gives creature +1/+2, just like Mantle of Tides. We're going to play that one. Importantly, these are better than like the auras, because when the creature dies, we can move the equipment, yada 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 yada. I'm not gonna really do much else with equipment. Got the operative, we got the modulation. Yeah. Okie doke. I'm comfortable with that. What are we at? 100? Oh, we're at a clean 100. Okay. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna play Lotus Petal. We're gonna make this a non-budget deck by adding a Lotus Petal. And in return, we're going to cut 1 card. This is a hard one. I've never had a harder decision to make in my life. 22 creatures seems so high. Let's cut Haunting Figment. Yeah. I wonder, whenever you cast, whoops, I do that a lot. Whoops. Cards that care about me casting spells, creatures that do. Make sure I'm not missing anything I really want here. Yeah, Spellfist, we got these guys. Screw that one, we got that one. Yeah, I think we're good. Windrider Wizard's cute, but I don't want to play a lot of 3 mana spells. I'm already drawing so many cards. I don't need a Windrider Wizard to loot. Okay, I think we're good. What are we at? 100? Okay, this is great. All right, let's turn it on the visual spoiler here. Sort of a mana value. We'll see kind of how it looks. A nice suite of creatures. a bunch of good sorceries, a bunch of good instants, and a bunch of great artifacts. And let's look at our curve here. So we've got 18 permanents, mana value 1, 21 with mana value 2, a total of 31 or 41 spells that have 1 mana value, 32 that have 2, and then 2 spells that have 3. So our our average mana value with lands is 1.19, 1.5 without lands. This is a true Derek special right here. Let's take it into a playtest and we'll see what happens. We're just going to do this a little bit. Playtest. So what do we have? We have an island, we have a peak, so we have a couple looks at a land. Let's try it. So turn 1, we'll draw a card. Too easy. Gonna instead cast this because we have our second land, so let's just get a 1/1 out there. Turn 2. Gonna play this. Now we have a couple options. We have 3 pump spells. We can get a land and attack for 2, or we can just get this Duodrone online. We can take a turn and do that. Although I might wait a little bit for the Duodrone until we can like get a good attack in and then cast a Duodrone. Like if we have another land, like 1 or 2 more lands, I might deploy this. But I also kind of want to just hold on to this until next turn because I hit my land drop on turn 2. So let's do this. Let's attack. We'll cast Peak. Make this a 2/2. 2/2. Draw a card. Oh, is this game easier or what? And we'll just, take 2, whatever. It's turn 2, no one's blocking. Mental note. Okay, so now what we can do is we'll start deploying these things once we get higher land counts, but I really just want to maximize damage right now. I want to see what I can do with this, with doing damage. All right, we'll reset power and toughness. Okay, so let's cast the Terrarium. Trigger. Let's get an island. Let's cast Mental Note. Draw a card. Whoops, that actually was in the yard. Lightjammer and Looter go to the yard. Draw a card. Operative. Attack for 3. Next turn. Alright, 4 lands. Look at this. We hit all of our land drops. We're going to play this Operative. And then we're going to play the Duodrone. Second spell, trigger this. We don't have an attack this turn, but that's okay. We can take a turn off. And now we can just like attack. We can Zolfir and Shapecraft on here. So we set power and toughness to 4/3. Have a prowess trigger. And then we make a treasure. So we have 3 mana. We can just so we can either do another one and push more damage with Polymorph on like this, to make this what it would be 2 counters. It would be like a 6-power creature. That seems pretty good. Or we can wait till after combat and then like cast a Spell Fist and pump this up. Let's do that. So we'll deal 5. Post combat, we'll cast Spell Fist and trigger this, bump that up. We'll keep our treasure to like bluff something. Who knows? People are always like, oh, the blue deck, they've always got something. All right. So this is turn 6, and we've dealt like 10 damage with this thing so far. Which is to say nothing of this other stuff that we have. The damage is going to ramp up pretty heavy now because we have the Operative and the Spell Fist just stacking up like power, especially with all these cards. So first thing we could do is cast Slip Through Space, targeting this. So Prowess, unblockable, draw card. We can go to combat. Oh, this gets a point of power too. I'm just gonna add power and toughness on, even though it only pumps power. It's unblockable, but it's a 3-but. We'll attack with this too. Make a treasure. Let's say that somebody is particularly evil and blocks your Duodrone, whatever, it dies. But this thing. Okay, so we've got a 2/2, a 4/3, and a 2/3, and now we can cast Thought Scour, mill, draw. Puts a point of power here, point of power here. Cerulean Wisps. We're gonna oh, this gets a counter because of second spell. We're gonna untap this and draw a card. Power. Draw. Then we can go, 2 mana. I think this is these are both one. So we'll just make this a base power 4/4. So trigger. We've gotten 4 triggers this turn, so it would be 8 power. This is an 8/8, and then trigger here. So right now on turn 6 we've got 13 damage unblockable, and then we've got like this 5/4 as well. And we still got like a card. We're kind of flooding out though. We still have a Water Wings, which ain't bad. So what we'll do is we'll like sacrifice this, we'll put a counter on this guy, just because this thing's pretty sick. And then we will cast our Water Wings. Actually, yeah, we'll cast our Water Wing. All right, we'll cast this first, Jessica Elder, and we'll cast our Water Wings. Make this a 5/5 or 4/4. Actually 5/5 because prowess. This gets another point of power. This gets a counter. So now again we've got like a 5/5 flyer, a 3/5 unblockable, and a 6/5. Gold Mega Sick. Prowess. ETB draw card. Fucking lands. Yeah, we get the idea. We're doing the cool stuff. Let's restart. 7:51. Got some time. 1 land is all we need. Let's try. If we draw a land in the first, by our second turn, we'll bestow on Slitherblade. Let's try that. Or if we draw a land this turn. No. Okay. So let's just get Slitherblade out there. You know what we'll do instead? Let's get our. Got a lot of creatures. You know what we'll do? If we're going to cut some of these things, we don't need all these little 1/1 unblockable guys. We have enough other things that we can do. I don't care about these guys anymore. I want more spells. We'll keep this because I like the fact that you can sacrifice. We'll cut the gold thing. Okay. Well, these are our creatures. Let's add 4 more cantrips. This is where we can start getting into the bad ones. You know how much I like the bad ones. At the end of the day, it's about density, not about quality. So this is where we can start looking into... well, we shouldn't play Orphaness because we actually need a target to cast that. We could... I don't want to do Brainstorm because I don't want to Brainstorm lock. Let's play Sphere and Star. Whoops. We'll play Sphere, Star. We'll play Obsessive Search and Reach Through Mists, I think. Oh, actually, Wavebreaker's a wizard, right? So we can do Stream of Unconsciousness and the other one, the Trap. Oh, shoot. Chilling Trap. So these are 2 cards. They give a creature -4/-0 if you control a wizard, you draw a card. So if we have our commander out, it gives a creature -4/-0 and we get to draw off of it. So again, something we can proactively chain through, or we can use it to use defensively if you want to as well. I like that a lot better. All right, we've got 5 minutes. Let's go again. Okay, so we've got 3 creatures do spells. Okay, this is fine. Draw. Chilling Trap is great. Let's just get him out there. I really like playing this on turn 1 and just going. That's kind of more my style. 2 mana. Let's just cast a Fairy Seer and I'll scry 2. Put this on the bottom. Man, Junie is not happy. We'll keep Chromatic Star on top, and then what we'll do is we'll just, like, you know, we'll cast a Chilling Trap, Prowess, draw a card, attack, turn 3. It's so easy when you just draw all your lands. Alright, so now what we can do is we can do Chromatic Star, trigger, sacrifice Star for a blue mana, draw a card, use that blue mana to cast Leap, trigger, and then I've got 1 more mana, whatever, we got a flying creature, oh, and I draw a card for Leap, right? Did I already do that? No. Okay. Perfect, and then slip through space for next turn. So now, oh shoot, so many lands. We can just start doing, like, we'll just cast Duo Drone. We'll slip through space, draw, cast Fleeting Distraction, draw, attack for 3 again. We got Snap 2, so now we've got, like, some good stuff we can do. Words of Wisdom, we draw 2. This is pretty sick. And we'll cast Shapecraft, make this thing huge. And then we can cast Sorcerer's Sight and peek and then draw. Draw off that. Yeah, this feels better. I might cut 1 land. You know what we'll do actually is we'll cut 1 land. We'll put it in Opal Palace because thing's gonna die. I don't like that one. That one, please. And hold on, I gotta switch these printings real quick. Let's do what the Edge of Eternities. Oh, this one right here. That island is what we want. And then we're gonna cut another 22 lands, and we're gonna put in another 1 mana cantrip. I think we've got almost all the good ones. Probably just like Obsessive Search, honestly. If we happen to discard it, we can cast it, but otherwise just like, let's just draw a card. Let's just do it. I just want 1 mana spells. Yeah, important with the delay triggers. As you can see, like the delay trigger is not quite what I'm looking for. Anything else that ETBs and gets me a card or lets me draw. No. Yeah, I don't want to play those. Brainstorm, but no. Aquatex Will. I guess it's a Merfolk Wizard, right? So Aquatex Will do it. Yeah, let's play Aquatex Will instead of Obsessive Search. Aquatex. There we go. So Aquatex Will, real quick before we wrap up here, is a little Lorwyn classic. Put a flood counter on a land. That land is an island. If you control a Merfolk, draw. We have a Merfolk. So, okay, let's call it there. As you can see, we've got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of the same thing going on. Casting 1 mana spells, drawing cards, and attacking with our prowess creature. And playing with 22 lands. You probably even go lower, honestly, since we're drawing so many cards. Since we're like digging so much through our deck, I encourage y'all to like experiment with decks like this every once in a while. Like see how low you can go in your land count, and by making as consistent a deck as you can. When you play Xerox decks like this, that's kind of like a colloquial term for this kind of deck is a Xerox deck, because every card's the same. You know, it's copies. You just churn through so much of your deck that even though you have such a low land count, you're gonna find them inevitably. Which is why we can get away with this. And with this quantity, and plus like the Twig and the Amulet, Fountain Port Belt, you could probably even go lower, because those things will just get you land straight up. These ones will just find you one, you know, without much investment at all. You could probably even like maybe cut, you know, just for fun. Let's cut 1 more, and we'll put an Obsessive Search back in. Even though Obsessive Search is not great, we're going to do it. We're going to, you know, that's the last thing we're going to do. So that said, thank you all for joining me and partaking in the beautiful, wonderful adventure that is the Derek Special. Um, I think this one turned out pretty good. I might go back and tune it a little bit, but I think this is a great place to start. Um, as always, the deck list is going to be in the description. It's going to be on my Mox field. I have a whole bookmark of all of my stream decks there. There's a link to that in the description as well. There's also a playlist of all of the videos that we've done so far, all 30 something of them or whatever. And then lastly, as always, there are links to Translifeline and Trevor Project in the description as well to donate your money if you are able to do that, because I think that's a worthwhile thing to be doing if you are able. That said, I've got nothing else tonight, so I'll see y'all back here next week. We'll probably do some Edge of Eternity stuff. It's 8 o'clock, so I gotta get going. And I'll see y'all later. Thanks for stopping by.